From the City of Angels, you are listening to the James Salazar Media Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to review some movies and TV shows, so let me strike the music, and I'll meet you on the other side.
Engage.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Say hello to my little friend.
No, I am the Father.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
And welcome to the James Salazar Media Podcast, where you get your dose of pop culture, politics, and futurism. I am the formerly mentioned James Salazar. How's everyone doing today? We are back. Just came off a trip from Guadalajara, Mexico, where my wife is from. That was an interesting vacation. We got a nice hotel that we never stood in. We never kicked back in. We just basically walked through flea markets and macaritos, where people can buy stuff day in and day out. There were some moments where we sat down and ate and drank for like hours. And we had, there was moments where we got some mariachis and other types of Mexican music to play while we're eating seafood. That was cool. I like that. But my wife's family, man, too much. They just walk you to death looking for the deals. Come on, this is not a vacation. This is a marathon. And I was like, no way, I'm not doing this again. I'm cutting off all travel with them foos. Not going to happen. So that's my Guadalajara trip. Nice place. Beautiful place. There's some ancient cities there. Not too ancient. I mean, like, pretty old. Built with, you know, like, it looks like Europe. Certain parts of Europe, for sure. Basically, the churches and all their city places, you know, they're all built old. You know, you had to pay 5 pesos for every bathroom, and not every bathroom was worth 5 pesos. Let me tell you that much. I tried to hold my poop until I got back to the hotel. Not the healthiest thing to do, but, you know, what are you going to do? I just didn't feel comfortable putting my ass down on some of those toilet seats. Yeah. But good. There were some good moments. We went back to the hotel and we went on our patio and we drank for a while and we talked about the day and how exhausting. And they always wanted to get up early in the morning to go walk someplace. I had a fight to like, let's wait till 10. Can I recover? Can my feet recover? God damn it, from this day before you get me on to the next day. Can I get a little bit? Can I get like 8 to 9 hours sleep? It's a vacation. I mean, they're all about like, let's do work. Let's walk around the world. I wasn't having it. I'm not having it anymore. I actually did have it, and that's why I'm complaining. So, that's it. So, let's get into some TV shows. So, my first review is about TV show by Apple called Foundations. It was written a long time ago. I'd never read it, by Isaac Asimov. Back in the 60s and 70s, he was a prolific sci-fi writer. And he came up with like some clever things like the 3 laws for robots. A robot can never hurt anybody. It must sacrifice itself to save another humans. Certain laws inside the robot that it has to obey. You see this in the movie I, Robot. Well, all that was written out and set forth by Isaac Asimov and other writers before him. But I watched it. The very first 2 episodes is definitely epic. It definitely straddles the line between science and religion. It is straddles the line between fundamentalism, belief, and terrorism. It's a very interesting show. Very well done. The actors are amazing. So far, I'm very impressed by the storyline. It's very highbrow. And I was super impressed. I'm not going to spoil anything for you because I want you to watch it, and I will review the very last show and the season, and there I will get spoilers talking about stuff and what I thought they did well and what things they didn't do well, I guess. But if you're looking for a highbrow sci-fi, definitely watch Foundations on Apple Plus. I think you'll enjoy it. It's well written. Now I'm watching Evil. Evil's on Channel 2. Or not Channel 2. CBS. That's Channel 2 in LA. This show was, the very first one impressed me a lot. It straddles the line between psychology and religion, multiple personalities, or demon possession. It goes deep into that. It has an underlying evil theme that a religious fight against spirituality, or is it just all in people's heads? And what's great about this show, they have a guy who's a skeptic, and he just proves things. That's his forte. And you have a psychologist, and you have a priest who's somebody who's trying to become a priest, and they are being used to debunk, challenge anything that might have supernatural overtones or people who are possessed. And they go and troubleshoot and see if it's actually psychological or actually spiritual. And the good thing about this writing, you never know. It's never really clear. It doesn't get solved like it does. It's like unsolved, like it does in real life. You just got people who have various opinions, and very few people come together on the conclusion because they all have three different value sets. So it's amazing writing. The second season goes into into the people themselves and the struggles they have in their life, and how being around this element of evil, spirituality, has played with their minds. And we are still wondering, is it the devil? Is it demons? Is it God? Or are they, because they are around it too much, are they hallucinating? Are they being affected in their mind? Are they going crazy? So it's very interesting this season. And there's so much other stuff underlaid, that you think I'm telling you this, I'm spoiling, but I'm not spoiling. What I said was very vague compared to what really goes on in the show. I love Evil a lot. It's not Evil in general, the show. It's a really good show. It's really well written. I like all the characters. The girl is hot and charismatic, who's a psychologist. The guy, the priest, is the guy from Luke Cage. He's a phenomenal actor, big guy. And this other guy he's been in many shows, playing variety roles, and he's excellent in this. Everybody's excellent. I don't want to spoil it, but the second season is good, but it goes deeper into how this job is affecting the individuals. But we got an underlying situation going on with evil, fighting evil and the devil and his plans? Or is it just humans believing that the devil's has a plan for them and they're just trying to implement it? So, definitely watch Evil. Thumbs up. Another show I'm watching is The Titans. Now, I like The Titans a lot. And the premise of this is Robin, who Dick Grayson is now Nightwing. He's off on his own, away from Batman. And they really paint Batman as pretty much of a shitty dude who takes advantage of young kids and makes them become vigilantes and beat up people. And the psychological toll that these Robins having to deal with, plus all the other moral and emotional circumstances that all the other superheroes in it, for the lack of a better word, or titans, are trying to deal with. And it's a really good show. The action is awesome. The writing is awesome. I like that Batman's in this bad place right now, completely doubting himself. And the first season and the second season paint him as an evil guardian over these kids that he took in to help, and what he had them do and groom them to be violent. And we're seeing the after effects of that. And now Batman, Bruce Wayne, is in a bad place because this truth about what he did to these children and raises them up to be vigilantes, he's now seeing the error of his way, and it's affecting that he has to consider for the first time that he could be the bad guy. So it's really good. I like it. It's action-packed. The relationships between it are fun. So I like Titans. The third season is, I think it's the third season or it's the fourth season, because I binge watched the 3 seasons, I think. It might be the fourth season. It's very good. It's different. It's different from what you might see in the WB. You know? There's sex and violence, and the heroes are not always heroes. And they make mistakes. So, The Titans, for sure, is a great program. Just finished Project Blue Book. It is a great show. There are some times where it lingered. It took a while to get there, but they were going through actual experiences that people had where they called in to have alien experiences or flying objects, and there was a section in the Air Force called Project Blue Book where they investigated it. And a lot of the shows, they had basically logical answers for this. But there were some moments where they seemed to defy logic. And these were real accounts of people. Obviously, they writ around more drama around the circumstances, as well as having these underlining conspiracy ideas, obviously written for effect and making the show more exciting. But it was a really good show. It ended before its time. I felt the next season was going to be great, but it got canceled. But it's definitely worth seeing to hear the actual accounts of what people experienced, whether it was what they felt was extraterrestrial life or a flying object. Those reports were true, whether they were actually what they were, but they're actual reports. And the show takes on from there how they probably investigated it and how they discounted it. I'm not sure if they're actually the doctor. I know the doctor who they use in it is an actual person in history and advised, what's his name? Steven Spielberg for Close Encounters for the Third Kind. At least they show that in the show. So yeah, it's a great show. It's gone, but it's really interesting how long back we have been experiencing things. Well, we even see it in the Bible that people experienced strange things in the sky. There's also a show I'm watching right now in the middle called War of the Worlds. It's like the same thing that you see with Arthur C. Clarke and we've seen it done many times, but this one is done where the aliens come around World War I, around that time, and the lack of technological prowess at that time that humans have makes it a much interesting dynamic when fighting these technologically advanced alien species that are attacking Earth from Mars, of course. Same story, just happens about 20 to 30 years before it does when it was written. I don't know actually when it was written, when they did the play on the radio where everybody thought it was real. And obviously we see ones that are made today. There's a TV show in Starz called War of the Worlds. It's a longer take with different shows in our modern time. We see the one with Tom Cruise, which is a good one to watch. But this one is set in like World War II, early 1900s. And it's unique. So I'm enjoying it. I don't want to spoil it for you. But they're dealing with some shit in that show. And, my friends, now I just started to watch the 11th season of The Walking Dead. And as you know, spoiler alert, in 2 seasons ago, or maybe 3, I'm not sure, Rick Grimes was taken off the show. And I'll let you see how that happens. But the very first 2 shows are very interesting. They immediately put them in very interesting circumstances. It's going back to the fear of the dead again. Before it was just like fear of humans. And I liked that a bit. But then they just went hard in the paint, and the zombies were a secondary person situation as opposed to dealing with humans, which makes sense. In that role, you're going to have to be pretty ruthless. But in this new season, they're immediately dealing with circumstances that put them in crazy circumstances, having to navigate the dead. So I'm enjoying it so far, and you still have these interpersonal strifes and rivalries and hatreds that are boiling on the top that could screw everybody else if they get out of control. And we have Negan still there, and nobody really trusts him, and he don't trust nobody because he thinks everybody's gonna kill him because of what he did in the past. And so it's very interesting. I'm enjoying the first 2 episodes so far and where they're going, because it's spooky, and you think people are going to die. Some people do already off the bat. So definitely I'm intrigued in this new season. I will review it at the end of because this is the last season. If you want to catch up to how they're going to end the show, then my friends, right here is where you start watching to see how what happens, who dies, who lives. Yeah, is it happily ever after, or this world wins? This evil zombie world ends up getting everybody. We will find out. We will find out. So I'll be watching that. They have 2 shows called Fear the Walking Dead and Beyond the Walking Dead or something like that. I watched both of them. They're all pretty cool. Something's gonna happen in the Fear the Walking Dead that is supposed to be crazy, concerning like nuclear bombs or something like that. Interested to watch that. Now, Shang-Chi, Legend of the 12 Rings. I saw that in the movies. I definitely enjoyed it. It looks amazing. The story is good. It's very funny. Awkwafina, she's funny to watch, and I didn't think I was gonna like the guy. I don't know his look. I wasn't expecting some white guy. Expecting someone. I was actually expecting or wanting some of the actors that I'm well known from, like the guy who's in Warrior. Forget his name, and the guy from what is that? Entering the Badlands. I was hoping the role would go to one of those guys, but this guy, once I started to see his acting and how he portrayed the role, I began to like him, and so I think he did a really good job. We have a new hero now in the Marvel universe, and those 12 rings are pretty badass. So if you want to see this guy do some crazy shit with these 12 rings, definitely watch the movie. It's very enjoyable, standalone. It has other implications for the bigger Marvel world, and they get into that if you stay after the credits. They go into how this person and the 12 rings, their importance in this universe of strange objects. So definitely watch that. It's very entertaining if you like Marvel. If you don't like those type of movies, you're not going to like them. But it is what it is. Trying to think. Well, I know I'm going to watch, and let's talk about what's coming up. We got Venom. I'm going to watch Venom tomorrow. Venom 2. Hope it's good. I'm looking forward to the new Sopranos movie, the Saints of Newark. I'm also looking forward to there's a new Apple show where they're dealing with alien invasion, to see how Apple is going to write that type of story. We see other programs do that many of times, and this is Apple's foray into a alien invasion. A lot of money being put into it. They're really doubling down on sci-fi. They have a lot of other shows, but I mean, and what do you call it? For All Mankind is one of the greatest shows ever in sci-fi, I believe. It's so well written. Definitely watch that. I have reviewed that. They're going to come into their fourth season. I think we're in the third season or the second season, but it is well written. I'll let you look at that. We have James Bond coming up. Looking forward to that. What TV shows? There are a couple new TV shows right now. Well, actually, I'm watching one called, let me see. I need to get the right name for this. If you like the Da Vinci Code, and the character inside the Da Vinci Code called Robert Langdon, he is, what do you call it? He it's a Dan Brown show. If you like Dan Brown and the Da Vinci Code and the character of Robert Langdon, he's a symbolist, and he pulls out the meanings of he studies the meanings of symbols, and he's put in the circumstances where he has to use his talents. And it's called, let me get the right name for this show. I watched the first two. It is excellent. It's called Lost Symbols. The one thing I didn't like, when they begin he's teaching in school like they all do with, they're going to set up somebody who is smart. He's a professor. They automatically had, Nazi symbols, and then they put in a T, what do you call it? Tea Party symbol, or the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, the flag that started our country, basically about not having government oppression. And you can tell the show was trying to relate people who value freedom and lack of government to Nazis. which is ridiculous because Nazis were all about 100% government. The opposite of that. And it's just propaganda immediately. I was almost going to turn it off, but the show continued on to be pretty good. And the characters were well acted. So, Lost Symbols, it's definitely good. Don't appreciate the propaganda by the left-wing writers probably of the show. And unfortunately, some of the best writers are just left of center. They're very creative and they know how to write good stories. And often, even though they believe in laws that disarm people and have people not fight evil, they often write in characters that often stand up against evil and fight evil and oppression with violence. They often write that when in actuality they wouldn't vote for any of that. So it's strange, but they're good writers nonetheless. And, like Aaron Sorkin, great writer, but I hate his anti-American stances sometimes. And, or his, saying conservatism is a new American Taliban. It's just stupid. It's a stupid comparison. It's not even close. Conservatives don't throw acid in children's faces when they're girls' faces when they go to school. They don't rape multitudes of family members that they go into each house, and they don't kill the fathers and who don't follow them. And I mean, just stupid, moronic comparisons. It's unfortunate that you have to listen to this left-wing propaganda just to get some good television in that is not consistent with the most people who are watching it. But, they're in a position of power and they have the liberty and the creativity to do that. So I take it with a grain of salt. But the show was good. There's going to be a show called La Brea where the La Brea tar pits sink into the ground and there's a world underneath the La Brea tar pits, like a different world on, the hollow earth theory. So I might watch that. I don't know if I'm going to watch that. So I think, I know I'm waiting for The Boys to come back. One of the best superhero shows. If you haven't watched The Boys, watch The Boys. I'm waiting for Star Trek to come. Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Discovery, and the new one called Star Trek Strange New Worlds, where it's the adventures of Captain Pike and Spock before Captain Kirk takes over the Enterprise. And they set that relationship up and that situation up in the last season of Star Trek Discovery. So I'm liking where it's going now. I'm used to it. I didn't like it before. The Klingons looked weird, and the story focused on things I didn't think it should focus on. But now that we have set up the characters, and especially we know Picard's about Picard, Discovery's basically about Michael Burnham, the second in charge, and she does some crazy stuff. Now we're like 5 seasons in, and who she was then is totally different from who she is now, and we're going to see how that plays out in the new season. And we got this Strange New World, and we're having this one called Star Trek Prodigy that's coming on Nickelodeon. So, and they might be doing some others. What I'm hoping right now, and this is for friends, people who love sci-fi, Star Wars being picked up by Disney, they're going to hash out a lot of new shows. As you know, Gina Carano got kicked out by cancel culture, so they're putting Lucy Lawless in her position, and a much older girl. So I don't know how they're going to play that out, how they're going to write that out. But I like Lucy Lawless, but it's unfortunate that they had to play become fascist and try to control what people think, and saying people can't give their opinion. And I understand if you have a racist opinion, saying you hate a certain race, yeah, get out of there. But if your opinion varies by political lines, and you're saying one political line is valid and the other is, that's, my friend, anti-American, and cancel culture should not entertain that. But cancel culture doesn't seem to have any bounds to its totalitarianism. It's like I always said. We don't need the Constitution if the people of that country don't value it and practice it. You know, what good is free speech if the people don't value it? We must pendulum back to free speech. Sometimes free speech is uncomfortable, and your inability to deal with it makes you a weak person, hands down. You have to navigate a life where people don't agree with you, people don't see it your way, but tolerance, not for the idea, but the tolerance for them to have the freedom to express the idea, no matter how wrong they are, because the cure for bad and stupid speech is more free speech, is right speech. And we're always going to be a society that the person who wins the argument should win. And that's it. And a lot of people want to cancel what people say because they can't win the argument. They want to shut them up because they don't have the tools or the information or the truth behind them. So they want to cancel people. So, got me off on a tangent. So let me tell you this. Like I said, Disney is deep into into Star Wars. Paramount and CBS are deep into Star Trek. And I'm hoping Universal, somehow, some way, will start to reignite and use the Stargate franchise. It is one of the best written franchises, and it's so deep in its mythology. It's fantastic. And though I would like them to jump ahead in the story using the same mythos that they have and the same characters and what happened to them, it could be 100 years in the future, whatever it might be. But I'll even take a rewriting of it all. It's just a very good concept about a ring that is a wormhole to other planets and other life that only links to where aliens have set up these wormholes. Is only to places where living species exist. So it's exciting. So I can go either way, but I think they should bring it back. And they're redoing Battlestar Galactica. I liked the last one; was done really well by Sci-Fi Channel. But I'll give the new one a chance. I hope they have a different take than the original and this one. It might be a straddle of the both. Yeah. So there's a lot to look forward. We're going to get to a lot of stuff. I know my family's going to get together and watch Halloween Kills because they love the Halloween franchise. My wife's not so much a fan, or my daughter, but my daughter might go just because everybody else is going. And we're going to have to drag my wife, kicking and screaming. And yeah, I'm excited about the holiday season, and I hope your holidays are awesome. A lot of good shows and a lot of good movies are going to be set forth. Actually watching the 6th season of Lucifer, and it's all right. I don't know where they can go with this story anymore. I didn't like the last episode of season 5 where he becomes, spoiler alert, last one, spoiler alert, where he becomes God. And they did it inside the LA Coliseum, and it just looked cheesy to me. It looks like something you had to do in the 80s because you couldn't afford special effects. And they had a fight inside the LA Coliseum, and they're just like, it looks so non-epic. But this next season, he's fielding these ideas that he's got. It seems like more of the same fun, but I just don't know where the story's going anymore. So my wife likes that show. She likes the actor. She thinks he's great, and he's great. He's good. He's a good actor, but I'm gonna watch and probably look at my phone at the same time, because I think some things just need to be done. So if I've missed a show, or you want me to consider a show, put it in an email at jamessalazarmedia@gmail.com. We're going to end it here. If you disagree with my assessments, definitely put that in the email. You can follow me on any of my social media accounts. I'm pretty much on all of them, except for TikTok. And I might go on there. I don't know if I have something interesting to say or do. Just type in James Salazar Media. I should come up. Please follow. Also, please subscribe to the podcast. Give a review. I would greatly appreciate it. Tell people about the podcast. And, yeah. So, my friends, if you find yourself on your knees because of storms of life, stand tall and take a look at that storm and say what my sensei Jack Burton always says: give me your best shot. Oh, hold on. I did that all wrong. So when the storms of life come against you and you find yourself on your knees, stand tall. Take a look at that storm and say what my sensei Jack Burton always says: give me your best shot. Strike the music.